So a little bit about me is that currently I work with practitioners from across the range of modalities. Uh, some of them from one, like just like yoga practitioners. Some of them are actually like life coaches, business mentors, through to the other side of the spectrum, to like trance channelists, psychics, and so forth. Then along in the middle, we have nutritionists, naturopaths, acupuncturists, and actually, I even mentioned dentists, which you may see as a little unusual, but there are dentists, particularly the orthodontists, who work from a holistic perspective, and really it's like the well-being of people. Um, but it wasn't always this way how I started. I didn't start working with practitioners. It is quite an unusual journey for me. My background, I come from a computer science background. I studied in England. Um, I was in the banking credit card industry. What happened quite a few years ago, I ended up having, well, I was burned out. I was one of these crazy executives who perceived I was the, how do you say, unbeatable executive warrior. And, I had to drink a lot, alcohol, to entertain clients, to close deals. And that was just the way the executive world, particularly in banking, worked. I was at the extreme. I was actually every day. I didn't perceive I was addicted to it, but I would drink 3 or 4 bottles of whiskey every day of the week. I was surprised I'm even still alive, even at that time. But nevertheless, what happened through lots of ups and downs and roller coaster type ride life, I ended up having insomnia. I only slept a couple of hours each day, and and I tried lots of different things, listening to like sleep music and whatever. And actually, it came to the point where my doctors refused to prescribe any more sleeping pills to me, because I was taking Valium, and I was taking 20 milligrams every day, and that was the only way I could sleep. My doctor, he refused to renew my prescription, because I already been taking Valium for nearly about a year and a half. Secondly, I was getting immune to it, and he needed to increase the dosage to about 25-30 milligrams, which is pretty dangerous. So he didn't give me any. I was pretty much stuck. It went on for weeks. I couldn't sleep. So anyway, I went to one of these meditations. I heard about it and never told anyone about it, particularly my friends, a bunch of guys. They would laugh at me. But I secretly went there, and the strange thing was, it was the only place I could sleep. And I just went there just to sleep. And during the meditation, I would sleep like a log, a little bit like a baby, for like 2 hours non-stop. And those 2 hours were like, it was like as if I slept like 2 weeks. Anyway, time progressed. And what I actually found was, it actually resolved a lot of my other issues, which I wasn't aware I had, like relationship issues, conflicts with people, and just life, situations like negativity. But the big thing that what was the big shift, and actually I was just going there to these meditations just for sleep, because I didn't perceive alcohol was a big problem for me, and just took it that it was part of the job, was that one day the taste of alcohol, I couldn't drink it anymore. The taste of some of my favorite wines just became like tar, and I just couldn't taste it, couldn't drink it. And ever since then, even right up to today, it's got to the extent of, if there's food cooked with alcohol, I can smell it and I can't eat it. So, it's pretty good. So anyway, what happened was, I approached a practitioner and said to them that this is really a fantastic thing what you're doing here. How are you marketing this? How are you selling this? Their response to me was that I don't sell. Alright? Selling is, sleazy. Selling is pushy. And I said, well, but what you have here, like, you've helped people like me, and I know lots of other people, other executives and whatever, who have the same problems, and you could help them too. She suggested to me I'm welcome to invite them to join the meditation. And I said, yeah, but actually, there's got to be a bigger impact, a bigger way of actually delivering, the work what she actually does. So things actually left there, but I couldn't resist, and I went back to her suggesting, okay, I'm going to help you to market this. I'm going to provide you, techniques how you can sell. She obviously didn't like that word selling. So through time, I actually recalibrated the language. Instead of using the word selling, and I call it the phrase as today now, serving. Because in the work what practitioners do, it's more of serving and actually distributing your consciousness amongst your people. So from that point, which was actually quite a number of years, I've now helped hundreds. I think now about 115 practitioners globally to launch live events, which live events which run over 2 to 3 days. In some cases, they're working one-on-one privately with their clients, and some of them with home study programs, which is like online programs, courses. Because as we all know, with the work what you do, it takes more than 1 or 2 or even 3 sessions. Just a couple of sessions, and that's what we see with clients who actually work with practitioners. They come in with they experience a couple of sessions, they start seeing things change, and they think everything's healed. They think everything's all great, hunky-dory, and yet they never come back again. Nevertheless, a couple of years later, they're back again with the same symptoms, the same problem, and in some cases probably worse. So it becomes a challenge how to get your work out to more people. And rather than having practitioners, because this is what I see, and my motive of why I created this workshop is, to be honest, and I'll be just frank, I'm a little bit tired, sick and tired of seeing, on both sides of the spectrum, that we see there are millions of people who wake up each day and they hate their life. They have a job, they hate it. They're alone. However, they're in a relationship, they're married, yet they still feel alone. There are people who are struggling, in pain, because they have health conditions and they don't know what to do about it. Yet on the other side, there's practitioners like yourself, struggling to reach your people. So what I see, there's a mismatch, and I work with practitioners one-on-one, and this is the way how my business works. Because I work with them one-on-one, I do charge them pretty high fees in the realm of really we work at several thousand US dollars on a monthly basis, and I know there's a lot of practitioners, where that is out of reach. So therefore, from this workshop, I hope to share with you the same strategies and techniques that I use and share, with my client practitioners, so that you can start moving ahead, and that your people can experience and work with you deeper to get the big results that your work provides to them. From my experience from working with practitioners, what I see, there's just a lot of practitioners get stuck with the marketing what happens around in this conditioned world of business. The conditioned world dictates you need websites, you need advertising, you need social media, right? You need marketing campaigns, you need all these things, okay? You need to sell, right? You need lots and lots of all these other things, but in honesty, a lot of these things are just tactics, random tactics, and it leaves practitioners frazzled. They're expensive, they do work, but they're only geared to work for the larger corporations. Like if we look at, say, Facebook, we work with, e-commerce with, I don't know if you know, but anyway, Toys R Us, okay? Toys R Us are one of our clients. We manage Google and Facebook advertising campaigns for Toys R Us, okay? It works for organizations like them, and we build them, right, on a performance basis. Because we know the improvements we can gain for them are going to be dramatic, right? So that's how we gain our revenue from them. Secondly, those campaigns, really, we're looking at very nominal improvements. We're looking at nominal improvements in the ratio of 1 to 2%. It never gets to 10%. But if you're looking at Toys R Us or these other equivalent major e-commerce websites that use social media and all this advertising and internet marketing, they have budgets of about 100,000 US dollars a month. 100,000 US dollars generates $1 million to $2 million US dollars. So a 1% improvement is massive. But for smaller businesses, a 1% improvement on a advertising campaign, which let's just say 1,000 US dollars, it's not going to pay the bills. So it's a little bit of a disillusion what the Facebook and all of these are actually doing for the smaller businesses. Yes, it does work. You do see these outcomes of, and you see these stories of, some young startup, okay, and they're using Facebook and they're actually generating leads. Well, it only works for the minority. And in essence, maybe my analogy would be, well, how many young people become pop stars and rock stars, right? Because they can sing. There's only about 0.1% of people who can actually sing actually become a pop star or a movie star or something. It's the same thing with like social media, websites and all of that. Not everyone actually succeeds, right? It's actually, the odds are against you, and it's time consuming. So through the strategies what I've shared with practitioners who work in the same similar modalities as yourselves, right? What we focus on is really the value what you provide, okay? What that value means is actually, if we take upon, rather than actually spreading it out thinly, which a lot of practitioners actually do by just working with lots of different clients, any client, providing sessions and just targeting anybody they can get, okay? What that does, it just spreads you thinly and it's not focused, okay? How we focus the value is in essence a little like sunlight, okay? Sunlight is all around us, very much like your value is all around. But if you put a magnifying glass under the sunlight, that sunlight will create fire. So in essence, that's where I'm leading towards, so that with your value, we actually zoom it in and focus it using your intuition, right? This is your uniqueness. Using your intuition, we focus it so it becomes a laser, and that laser will cut through steel. I know this sounds a little glorious and hypothetical. However, just only 2 days ago, with one of my client practitioners, we worked together, right, on a program, Okay, and this client, she's only just started working with me about maybe 10 days, and this is her second program, right, that we've worked on together. In the past, her business, she was charging individual sessions. Occasionally her clients would buy a package of maybe 6 sessions at the price of 5. Okay, but she was still struggling. Yeah, she was good at what she does. She also came from a business sales background, but still her practice was struggling, right? Through the program, it was through Skype. We actually got down together and we super zoomed and focused the work what she does to create a program. And this program is today, okay, she got 3 clients that signed up, and this program was for senior executives, female, right, who were lost and didn't know where they were going. They were doing a job, they didn't feel fulfilled, and yet they still didn't have a love relation, a relationship with a partner. Their love life was yo-yoing in and out between one partner and the next partner. Some of these had already been clients. They've had a couple of sessions here and there. Some of them were totally new, which joined the talk what she actually held. And this program was purchased by each of these individuals at $3,000 to work together over a month. And these are actually here in Hong Kong. And these clients are just regular lawyers. They're in their early 40s. So I think you can understand they've reached a point, they're in their early 40s, they still haven't got married, and yet they're doing a job, they're earning a pretty decent income, but yet they're not fulfilled. So they want to identify what is their journey, who they are, and how we actually do this, okay? And actually, and I'll share with you the actual step-by-steps, what I actually do with my practitioner clients, which I would like you to actually apply to. Yeah. So what I'm going to share with you is actually today there will be 3 key strategies. Okay. The first key strategy, okay, is actually narrowing down your your niche, your specific specialization. Okay, and this is where, hello, okay, sorry. Because when I say to specialize, okay, by not specializing, you're being a practitioner, a jack of all trades. And what happens here is that potential clients can't resonate and connect with you. Okay, they don't know what you actually bring to them, because sharing with them, I just say I bring you clarity and I bring you purpose, is too broad. Right? Particularly if you want to have them to join a program that's going to cost several thousand $, and it may not, you may not want to charge that amount of money. Okay, you may want to charge lower, and it may only just be like $300-400. Okay, but having said, it's money that they earn through hard work, whatever the job what they do. So therefore, anything essentially over $40, it's gotta be, the tuned into specifically what are they getting. Okay, so therefore, and how you determine what your niche is, with those of you who have actually been practicing, okay, for several years, is to actually reflect upon some of your existing clients, right? And the reason for this is like, you already see what's working, and it's a matter of just repeating what's working and fine-tune that. Because you understand those people, you understand the situations they are going through, you understand the outcomes where they want to get to, right? The solutions, because essentially you ought to be looking at this as a way of providing solutions to people to solve their problems. Because if it's not providing solutions, you're actually just fulfilling a passion for a interest, a hobby, and people aren't going to spend a lot of money, and they're not going to be totally committed to that. So what I do, I'll move on to the second strategy, which actually helps you, because you may be wondering, okay, how do you determine what is your niche? Okay, and this is where actually we zoom in on, right? By being specificities. Okay, so really, if we use the example, right, of the of a burnt out executive, let's just use a scenario of, let's say I'm a mindfulness practitioner, and I provide mindfulness exercises for executives. So rather than, the generic, right, and how most mindfulness practitioners will say, well, I help you to bring peace and calm, right, bring serenity. Busy executives, they're like, yeah, I would like that, but how's that going to help me earning more money? How's that going to help me with my job? So what we would actually do, we would actually go specifically on the specific, we call it the 3 S's, which is a specific audience who have a specific problem, who are looking for a specific solution. Because essentially, the way to visualize is that your people, your audience, because each of you through the universe has a community assigned to you. The universe is just waiting for you to have a system, a process in place to actually work deeper with your people. As you work deeper with your people, seriously, magically, and I know this sounds a little woo-woo, but the laws of attraction will kick in. Because the universe will see you have a system, you have a process in place to actually bring people from their situations that they want to escape from, their misery, and you can bring them to the point of arrival of their desires. The universe will send more of these people to you. I work with a number of trance channelists. Actually, right now I work with 5 who are trance channelists. Those trance channelists, their masters, have told me exactly the same thing. By having the systems in place, they will send people to you. Because they see it and they acknowledge this. Okay? So that's why you don't need to mess around with like Facebook advertising and all these other gimmick things. It's a matter of you have your systems in place, you have your process in place to bring deep work. The universe will send them to you. You'll get these clients. So what I call is, and I mentioned there, the escape and the arrival. Essentially, people are going through the phase of whatever it is in their life, they want to escape from it. They're in a marriage where it's not working, they're arguing or whatever, they're going through a divorce, and they want to escape from that situation. And they want to arrive at the destination of being in love, being with their soul partner that actually cares and desires them. Likewise, you got other people who are ill with whatever, diseases or illness. They want to escape from that and arrive at their destination. Likewise, if you're looking at, say, business mentors or people who are struggling financially, they don't have the freedom. They stepped away from the career, the job, what they were doing, because it wasn't working for them. They were working as a lawyer. Yeah, they got like, how many, $100,000 US a year as an annual salary, but they didn't like the job. So they quit it, stepped away to start whatever business of their own, and yet they're struggling. And yet there's people, there's practitioners, mentors who can actually serve and help them. And these are the tools. So essentially what we're doing is we're actually identifying, and this is where we're actually, you're using your intuition to actually see where they are, what is happening. And this was something which I discovered in myself from me working with my client practitioners. To be honest, at the very beginning, I was a little embarrassed because I'm not a practitioner. I'm not, basically, I said to myself, I'm not intuitive. I'm none of these. However, there was a point where I just decided I just go with what I feel and not with what I think. And as I did that more and more with my practitioner clients, they gained success. These programs were actually converting. Their prospective clients were buying. I even took it, pushed it really, really deep. And with one of my practicing clients, practitioner clients, and this was just like last month, we offered a program which was 10,000 US dollars for senior executives based in London. I mean, because that's where the practitioner is located. My practitioner client literally screamed at me like, "No way, Robert, that's way too high." But after I listed out, these are what these executives are looking for. These are CEO level. They're gonna call you anytime they feel like it. They're gonna want immediate results. They're actually gonna be very hard work, very, very much. So really, the higher price is not really about hoarding financial wealth. And no matter a point, with some of my practitioner clients, if they do hoard financial wealth from the work what we do, I ask them to leave. I ask them I won't work with you anymore. What I see is not about the money. The money is an expression of your value. I use this analogy of the Robin Hood scenario, where we work with those who can afford it to pay the premium prices for the programs, yet they're getting very deep value because these senior executives, by them actually ascending through the work what you provide to them, their workforces, their organizations, their people will also change through the ripple effect. So hence from where I suggest for the Robin Hood scenario is that with that additional revenue is to use that to reinvest and to create group programs to work with people who don't have that kind of an income, yet they still have these situations, these problems in their lives. So that's how you can help people with the lower income range with the programs, with the same programs, and you could still work with them, not essentially on a one-on-one basis, but on a group basis. You would then have the revenue, the wealth to reinvest and create these scalable systems to serve and help more people. So it's not about the money, it's about actually the mechanism of that. Okay, woo-woo word, it's the energy of the money, the growth. Where I share here about the escape and arrival, what we do, we go through a mapping exercise. This is where, and I'm just using this as an example, so some of this I've made it up, so it's not real. One of my clients, they actually created this a mindfulness program, which was to serve bankers, particularly stockbrokers, because a lot of them are burnt out. Initially, he actually did some speaking events. and he got some people to attend, but actually nobody bought his program because he approached it in a way where, you know, investment bankers get clarity, get purpose, know what your meaning in life, who you are, and I think we can understand none of those investment bankers would pay for that. So after working with me, we actually restructured, and what I do, I actually through Skype, we actually spent a couple of hours. I asked him to seek his own inner intuition and to feel, what are people getting? What do people want? And although, you know, I couldn't, I don't even put the camera on, right? Because the internet connection will be slow. I could still sense, you know, and his name is Mark, and I say, hey Mark, stop using your head. Feel it. And he was saying, well, you surprised me, Robert. I didn't know how you even knew that, but yes, I was just thinking of it. So anyway, this is just the initial draft. I can't share with you exactly, but this program, he then went back again to investment bankers, stockbrokers, and they bought this program at $2,100 US as a monthly program. Basically, essentially what they're doing, they're just learning mindfulness. So what we kind of called it, okay, this is the title of the program. And what you notice with the title of the program, rather than saying mindfulness, right, for busy executives, it's actually outcome orientated, because you want to tune things towards outcome orientated. What are they getting from this? And essentially what it's doing is actually applying it to their work life, their relationships, to focus and improve productivity, because that's really what key executives are going to be wanting. They want more performance. Now, one of the biggest challenges with going for this specific audience, they always want to stay highly sprung. They don't want to. They don't want to relax. They got to be there switched on, right? Because they're trading. So what he applied, he had a technique of mindfulness that they could apply in a matter of 10 seconds, at most 15 seconds. They didn't need to go out, you know, or do mindfulness for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes, you know, to go and meditate. This was a technique that they could do at their desk for a matter of 10 seconds. And that was like the uniqueness. But the key thing here, what we actually focus on, and I call this, and it is, you know, a phrase, the power of three, okay? Because what we actually identify is actually the three key pillars of the outcomes what they're going to be getting. So these are actually mapped here. The first pillar is to gain an understanding of mindfulness, to improve their productivity, sharpen their focus. This is actually the second pillar, you know, to develop the capacity of their cognitive control, to increase their ability to focus and concentrate. And then the third one here, you know, to minimize the distractions, improve their productivity. Essentially, this was actually for mindfulness, or his original program. There were like 15 different things here. I said that leads to overwhelm. It's too much. What we want to do, we want a short, specific outcomes that get them across to where they want to be. So essentially, and where I say the power of three, basically a maximum of 3 deliverable, I call these deliverables, but we can call them pillars. And within each of those pillars, there's a maximum of 3 action steps. As you can see here, each one of these, it only has 3 activities. And what you got to do, I know with perhaps the work what you do, there's actually much more than that. But what you got to do, you got to zoom in and eliminate to only what's absolutely critical and essential. Because if there's too much for them to do, they won't take action, and it leads to overwhelm, and they won't follow through. One of the other areas that you probably wondering, okay, you have this program, how do you find the people? The way to actually find people, there's actually two approaches. We have a total of 15. There are 15 different approaches, but I'm going to share with you just two of those. The first one is actually through speaking events. We call it like speaking gigs, talks. These talks are actually introductory signatory talks. We don't offer these talks as a program, or what I mean by a program, like this is a workshop that's going to cost X amount, register here and buy. Because people, they don't know who you are, they don't know is this the right thing for them, and it's just human nature, they're going to be skeptical. So really what we're offering is actually free talks to your specific audience. Okay, and that's what I was saying earlier about this, the three S's. The specific audience who has a specific problem and looking for a specific solution. So if we use the example of this for mindfulness, my client at that time, initially he was just targeting any executive who wants to know about mindfulness and wants to be in clarity and calm and peace. Nobody, or actually very few people attended his talks, and those that attended his talks didn't buy. By being specific, because essentially I call this phrase, or actually the analogy, I say we go fishing. Example would be, if you were to go fishing for salmon, would you go fishing in the Hong Kong harbour? No, because there's no salmon there. It's not the right environment. However, with all respect, a lot of practitioners are just fishing for clients anywhere because you just want a fish. So you gotta, because even if you're going for a fish, you gotta have the right bait for that specific fish. You gotta be in the right environment for that specific fish. So it's the same with looking and working with clients. You gotta identify specifically who is that client, where are they, and what do they want? What is the problem what they have? So it's going in super zoomed, kind of a little bit like a sniper. And this is where actually, again, your intuition of actually, and those, if you have existing clients, to actually look and identify, where do they go? Where do they congregate? So if you're working with, for example, say women, okay, you would then go to the ladies associations. If you're working with, you like the work what you do is actually that you've had good experience working with lawyers, then you want to go where the lawyers, those law associations. Now, having said, going to those associations is not to go there and network. That doesn't get you clients, and I think a lot of you don't really like that approach. Nobody actually does, and I wouldn't suggest that. What I suggest is actually to connect with the hub, the connectors, the organizers of those associations, those events. You want to be connecting with them and reaching out to them to actually organize an introductory talk to their audience. Organizers are constantly looking for speakers to share to their community. Constantly. They are, because they have a community, they have their members, and yet they have to serve their members with new content, new speakers, and most speakers these days, they cost money. And these organizations, associations, whatever, even like meetup groups, they don't want to pay that kind of money, right, to get a speaker. So by you offering, and there's a way to present it to them, that you would provide a talk, and obviously you can't say, I'm going to provide a talk and I'm going to pitch my program. Because having said, I would not suggest that you pitch your program at this stage directly through a speaking event. What you would do, you would actually, at the end, offer them a complimentary consultation for those who want to move forward. So therefore, your speaking event is highly focused on the specific audience who have a specific problem, and you have a specific solution, your program, which you have mapped prior to actually conducting that speaking event. And then you invite people to have a conversation to discover that it is a right match for them. Because you may have, okay, let's just say maybe that client isn't a right match. For instance, it may be financial circumstance, and it may also be pathological. Maybe they're addicted to cocaine or something, and for them to work with you, they need to resolve their drug addiction thing first. The second approach of how to get clients is that this works for those of you where you have existing clients. Reaching back out to the existing client base, reaching back out to people that they know. Practitioners say, well, they're not interested. They're not going to join a program. They just have a session here and there, maybe once or twice a year, and whatever. Having said, by reaching out to your existing clients, the actual results are better. You can quickly offer programs. And why is that? Because they already know you and you already know them. But you would need to, prior to reaching out to them, you need to intuitively map where they are escaping from and where do they want to arrive to. Initially, it may take you, seriously, 2 or 3 days. In some cases, with some of my clients, I'm actually on Skype with them for like 6 hours over 3 or 4 days, mapping out their first program, because it's pretty hard, I admit, because what happens is that the reptilian brain kicks in and starts concocting reasons why they wouldn't buy, and also reasons what they want. It's a matter of time of actually tuning your own intuition and actually to put the mind to one side and to feel and listen and hear the intuition, your soul. Actually, it knows very well what that program is, and you got to follow it, and you just got to trust it. In some cases, it may seem a little, I say wacky, as in illogical, but your soul, your intuition is telling you, and you have to go with it, because these are the right programs. And during those discoveries, I call them discoveries, but what it is, from those speaking events, and you offer a discovery consultation, which is complimentary, because that is one-on-one, and you're actually determining, and it's not a sales pitch, it is a conversation, because what's occurring here is that you're actually exploring, discovering where they are. And one of the key things is that through society, people today are conditioned in being pushed with solutions, being pushed with products, that this is the right thing, this is the best thing. So what I suggest is you would use a process, a script, is what I share with my clients. And this script essentially is a 5-step approach. And those 5 steps are, the first step is actually a matter of connection, a connection with that person. Because what happens is that people today have, ever since they've grown up from being teenagers, they've lost their connection. I don't know, maybe some of you are working with healer practitioners. And what you are gaining from that is actually your consciousness, your reconnection to yourself. Some of you are working as practitioners through your own journeys. You've discovered and reconnected to your own consciousness, your true self, which is why you're working as a practitioner. So really, it's a matter of actually, same with your clients, they are actually reaching out to you. The universe has sent them to you because they want to reconnect to their own self and their consciousness. Having said, those words are a little too geeky, woo-woo-y for them. So that's why we have to use terminology that resonates with them. So it's a little bit like, you know, if you're talking to children, we use a language that children can resonate with. Likewise, when we're talking with prospective clients, we would use a language that and terminology that they resonate with, and not so much the geeky terminology that as practitioners we all understand. The second stage is actually discovering where they are by being curious, inquiring what is life like for them, what are their challenges. And really there's a key question, you know, the answers what you would like to get from them is that what would they like instead? That is the magic question. Essentially you're asking them, well, life right now is not pretty good. What would you like instead of that? Where would you want to be? Essentially the answers from that question is telling you, this is what I want. And basically you would actually reflect and mirror, okay, because they're seeing a reflection of themselves in the work what you provide to the outcomes they desire. The next stage would actually be to see that this is a right match, that this is the right solution, the right destination, the outcome, where we're saying the escape and the arrival, that where they would be arriving, that this is the right place for them. Because if it isn't the right match, well then you would decline working with them. You wouldn't present the opportunity to work together with them. But if it was, you would present your program to them to work together. And I understand that a lot of practitioners would get nervous at this stage because the gremlin would jump in, you know, that the gremlin reptilian brain would say, this is selling. Essentially what you are doing, you are actually providing them an empowered choice. And the way I how do you say, as an example, as an analogy, would be if you were standing at a traffic light and that traffic light was red for pedestrians and green for the traffic, and next to you was an elderly person who didn't really see that light change, and they started to cross that road in front of the passing traffic. As a human, you would just stop that elderly person. Hey, it's red for pedestrians, be careful. And that's essentially what you're doing. You are taking an empowered move to actually help your prospective client. You're not selling them. If you just withheld and you don't present your program, essentially it's like when that elderly person attempts to cross the road, you know what they are doing, but because I don't want to get involved in their way, I don't want to, you know, they don't know me, I don't know them, so I'm not going to do anything. And that elderly person will get hit by a car. So the way is to look at it is you are standing in your power to offer an empowered choice to your prospective client. And this is their decision whether they will want to step forward and move forward with you or whether they don't. So today I've shared with you a couple of strategies, which, although they may appear straightforward because there's only 3 key strategies, and essentially these are the primary key strategies that all my clients apply. I want to say about my clients, some of them, they've started from literally rock bottom with no clients, no practice, and they're actually offering programs and they're earning in the realm of 20 to 40,000 US dollars every month. Some of their clients, they're actually working with them on a monthly mentoring basis. And their clients are paying them, and some of them range from a few hundred US dollars to up to several thousand US dollars on a monthly basis. And they're applying exactly these same strategies. Nothing any different. The only difference would be is the actual word for word scripts. I actually work with them to help them to actually create those word for word scripts to help them to, because one of the challenges is, what do I say to a client? How do I say this to come across in an authentic manner and not to appear salesy? And yet in their heart they do desire to serve them, but they don't know how to present this to them, and they don't know how to structure it. And that's why I have created a program, which is called the Focus Community. Can I share this with you? Thank you. So in this program, what I've done, the Focus Community, what I see Focus is a follow one course until success. It's to follow that one single path to reach your success. And that's where what I've done, I've actually compiled together the strategies, essentially they are the templates that I use with all my other clients to help them to evolve and to grow their practices to where they are today, to the work what they do. And it's the same without using any websites or any social media or any advertising. And in there I provide the actual strategies, the techniques, zoom these into easy step-by-step processes that can be applied immediately. And the objective of this community to support you to profitably market and sell, because it is selling. You are running a business, but the selling is in an approach of an authentic basis of serving from the heart. One of the strategies, or one of the key, principles what we use, we call it the heart selling principle, and that uses the 5-step approach I apply for my clients in every piece of communication. And that communication is verbal, email, newsletter, blog post, anything. Those 5 key principles, cornerstones of actually expanding your work, distributing your consciousness to your people. And this is the community which works for lots of modalities, which I've got listed here: yoga coaches, naturopaths, acupuncturists, Reiki masters, nutritionists, energy healers, and so forth. Also down to even fitness trainers, from that work as personal trainers in the gym, and educators, and much more. The key objective is to provide you with the library of those same strategies and resources that I use with practitioner clients that work with me one-on-one, so that you can actually work with your people, your prospective clients, on either a one-on-one basis or on a group basis. Within this, I will share with you You would have access to an online Q&A support platform. So any questions where you get stuck as you're working with a prospective client, you have a conversation with them and you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you can pop it in there and I will answer these. Within a 24, 40-hour basis, I will respond with an answer. I'll even provide you with the actual word for word, what you would need to say and how you would actually do this. And this is in a community type basis. So basically everyone gains from each other's experience. I would also provide on a monthly basis, we would do, a online gathering. So to answer any of your other questions where you want me to work with you on a interactive basis, like this through a Skype call, we would do this on a group gathering basis where any of your questions, I will give you the answers there and then, what to say, how to do it, how to strategize. And some of these things may even be when clients, approach you and say, well, I can't afford this. I have scripts, templates, existing processes that I've used, strategies with my existing practitioner clients, and I will share these with you that have helped them offer programs in, $5,000-10,000 each. So you would have access to exactly the same processes, what they are using. Also, during those monthly gatherings, I would do little teaching sessions to cover some of these areas. Actually, there's about 80 different areas that we'll cover. And I think you can see here something, here about how much do you charge? How do you price and package your services? The mapping, we can work on that together through these group gatherings, live. Then on a quarterly basis, I will conduct a workshop, which is highly focused on specific key areas. Like one of these is actually where I mentioned earlier about the hot selling 5 key principles. That is the core key. Taking prospective clients to becoming paid clients, working with you, taking them from the initial programs to work with you on a long-term basis. In additionally, provide you referrals for other new clients. In addition, in these workshops, I will share with you the strategies, if you wanted to do home study programs, if you want to do group retreat programs, where you're working with people on, 6 or even 150 people in a group basis. Because currently I work with my other practitioners who've worked with me now for a number of years. And now I work with them to support in leading 3-day live group events where attending clients are paying in the region from $5,000 to $15,000 for 3 days. And these, we held in the United Kingdom and over in the United States. So I would share in those workshops exactly the same strategies, and that will be conducted in the same manner as this through Skype on a live basis. Because my objective is to help you expand and to distribute your consciousness to your people in a deeper way. I'll share with you the amount of what this will be. This community, currently it is priced at $540 per month. However, I'm making this because I don't want money to be in the way of actually expanding your practice. So therefore, what I'm going to do, I've reduced it from $540 to $189 per month. And you can pay by credit card or PayPal, by simply by going to this page. You click the join, and then over here you type in the discount code Mastery, and that will reduce it to $189 per month. Well, if your work contributes to the lives of others, but you never seem to have enough clients, it can be extremely discouraging. Not only does your heart ache because you're not fully giving your gifts, you also don't get paid well enough and may end up struggling just to make ends meet. The only way to end the struggle is to start laser focusing your value to attract better clients. Once you master this skill, you never have to worry about clients or money again. In this community, you will discover how to fill your schedule with high quality clients, anytime and anywhere, convey your immense value so clients gladly pay you what you're worth, get streams of referrals flowing to you, feel confident in your ability to attract unlimited clients for the rest of your life. It's time to end the struggle, attract as many clients as you want, and finally thrive. If you really want to finally attract the clients and the money that you deserve, at this link below is what the top practitioners and conscious entrepreneurs do. Thanks for watching.